Originali.
Bentrovati su Caffè Italia e benvenuti alla prima puntata di Lingue Originali. Inauguriamo quest'oggi un ciclo di trasmissioni dedicate a chi fra voi apprezza la lettura e l'ascolto di opere letterarie, scritte anche per il teatro e la televisione, in lingua originale, così come recita il titolo del programma. Dal venerdì alla domenica, sempre alle ore 22, potrete ascoltare, con una breve introduzione in italiano, un brano in lingua inglese, uno in lingua tedesca e uno in lingua francese. I vostri lettori saranno Marco Piovaz, docente di lingua inglese, Nadia Meroni, cantante lirica italiana naturalizzata tedesca, e la nostra Barbara Marchand, di madrelingua francese. Questa sera iniziamo con la lingua di William Shakespeare e con il primo estratto da A Chip in the Sugar, che è uno dei 12 monologhi scritti da Alan Bennett che fanno parte della raccolta dal titolo Talking Heads. Furono pubblicati per la prima volta nel 1988. L'anno scorso ne ha curato una nuova edizione e ha trasmesso in televisione nel 2020  10 dei monologhi inclusi nella collezione originale più 2 nuovi monologhi. I 12 attori selezionati, tutti molto noti e stimati nel Regno Unito, hanno accettato di devolvere il loro compenso al Sistema Sanitario Nazionale come riconoscimento del grande sforzo profuso durante la lotta alla pandemia. A voi il primo estratto da A Chip in the Sugar di Alan Bennett, dalla voce di Marco Piovaz.
A Chip in the Sugar by Alan Bennett. I'd just taken her tea up this morning when she said, "Graham, I think the world of you." I said, "I think the world of you." And she said, "That's all right then." I said, "What brought this on?" She said, "Nothing. This tea looks strong. Pull the curtains." Of course I knew what had brought it on. She said, "I wouldn't like you to think you're not number one." So I said, "Well, you're number one with me too. Give me your teeth, I'll swill them." What it was, we'd had a spot of excitement yesterday. We ran into a bit of mother's past. I said to her, "I didn't know you had a past. I thought I was your past." She said, "You?" I said, "Well, we go back a long way. How does it fit vis-à-vis Dad?" She laughed. "Oh, it was pre-Dad." I said, "Pre-Dad? I'm surprised you remember him. You don't remember to switch a blanket off." She said, "That's different. His name's Turnbull." I said, "I know." He said, I'd parked her by the War Memorial on her usual seat while I went and got some reading matter. Then I waited while she went and spent a penny in the disabled toilet. She's not actually disabled, her memory's bad, but she says she prefers their toilets because you get more elbow room. She always takes forever, diddling her hands and whatnot, and when she eventually comes back, it turns out she's been chatting to the attendant. I said, "What about?" She said, "Hanging." She was in favour of stiffer penalties for minor offences, and I thought, well, we know better, our Graham and me. I wish you'd been there, love. You could have given her the statistics. Where are we going for our tea? The thing about Mum is that though she's never had a proper education, she's picked up enough from me to be able to hold her own in discussions up to the last-minute issues, like the environment and the colour problem. And for a woman of her age and background, she has a very liberal slant. She'll look at my garden and she actually thinks for herself. Dr. Chaudhary said to me, "Full marks, Graham. The best way to avoid a broken hip is to have a flexible mind. Keep up the good work." They go mad round the War Memorial, so when we cross over, I generally slip my arm through hers until we're safely across. Only once we're on the pavement, she'll postpone letting it go, because once upon a time we got stopped by one of these questionnaire women who reckons to take us for husband and wife. I mean, Mem's got white hair. She was doing this dodge, and I said, "Mum, let go of my arm." I didn't really wrench it. Only next thing I knew, she's flat on the pavement. I said, "Oh my God, Mother." People gather round and I pick up her bag and she sits up and says, "I've leathered both my stockings." I said, "Never mind your stockings, what about your pelvis?" She says, "It's these bifocals. They tell you not to look down. I was avoiding some sick." Somebody says, "That's a familiar voice." And there's a little fellow bending over her, green trilby hat, shortly raincoat. "Hello," he says, "remember me?" Well, she doesn't remember people. I know for a fact, because she swore me down she'd never met Joy Buckle, who teaches flowers and felt and fabric at my day centre. I said, "You have met Joy. You knitted her a tea cosy." That's all she can knit, tea cosies. And bed socks, both outmoded articles. I said to her, "Branch out. If you can knit tea cosies, you can knit skiing hats." She says, "Well, I will." Only I have to stand over her, or else she'll still leave a hole for the spout. Anyway, I said, "You do remember Joy, because you said she had some shocking eyebrows." She said, "I hope you didn't tell her that." I said, "Of course I didn't." She said, "Well, I don't remember." And that's the way she is. She doesn't remember. And here's this little fellow saying, "Do you remember me?" So I said, "No, she won't. Come on, Mother. Let's get you up." Only she says, "Remember you? Of course, it's Frank Turnbull. It must be 50 years. He said 52, Filey, 1934. She said, "Seacrest." He said, "No sand in the bedrooms." And they both cracked out laughing. Meanwhile, she's still stuck on the cold pavement. I said, "Come along, Mother, we don't want piles." Only he butts in again. He says, "With respect, it's advisable not to move a person until it's been ascertained no bones are broken. I was in the St. John's Ambulance Brigade." "Yes," said Mother, "and who did you learn your bandaging on?" And they both burst out laughing again. He had on these bright yellow gloves. Could have been a bookie. Eventually, I get my arms round her waist and hoist her up. Only his lordship's no help, as he claims to have a bad back. When I finally got her restored to the perpendicular, she introduces him. "This is Frank Turnbull, a friend of mine from the old days." What old days? First time I knew there were old days. Turns out he's a gents outfitter, semi-retired, shop in Bretford and some sort of outlet in Morecambe. I thought, well, that accounts for the yellow gloves. Straight off, he takes charge. He says, "What you need now, Vera, is a cup of coffee." I said, "Well, we were just going for some tea, weren't we, Mother?" Vera. Her name's not Vera. She's never been called Vera. My dad never called her Vera, except just once, when they were wheeling him into the theatre. Vera. "Right," he says, "follow me," and puts his arm through hers. "Careful," she says, "you'll make my boyfriend jealous." I didn't say anything.
Lingue originali.